Hey, this is Hansi from Blind Guardian. You're watching Bay Area Rocks.
You're watching Bay Area Rocks, and I'm Bassy, Stacy, and I'm here with Blind Guardian. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Hansi, doing the vocals, and I'm happy to be in San Francisco.
Could you give me a little bit of a background on Blind Guardian, like, the history? I know you guys been around for 25 years. And yes, and also, where you got the name and how you got together.
Well, we got together when Andre and I met in school. That was probably the basic root of Blind Guardian. We both played in different bands and decided to come up with something more essential together. We had a certain vision. That turned out to be a band called Lucifer's Heritage, and we have had some lineup changes, but very quickly we found Tom and Marcus, and basically that's the core for Blind Guardian then. We did some demos under the name Lucifer's Heritage, but when we did the first record deal, our record company just mentioned the name would not really fit to the music, so we were supposed to come up with a new name, and we had a song called Guardian of the Blind, and we liked the word guardian a lot, so it became obvious for us to play around with that mind-wise. And all of a sudden we had the Blind Guardian, and did have as well several ideas for the hooded monk, to come up with great cover ideas and artwork designs and merchandising, blah blah blah. So that was the basic origin of Blind Guardian.
Awesome. And you guys do have a lot of cover art and everything like that. This is your 9th album, At the Edge of At the Edge of Time. And who did the cover art for that?
That's Felipe Machado. It's a guy from Colombia. He's a big Blind Guardian fan, and he followed the band, since, I don't know, the early 90s or so. He started becoming a popular artist, and he contacted me some years ago while, I really didn't know what to do with him. I was waiting for the right plot to involve him into the project. So when At the Edge of Time came and we had that pyramid idea, which was connected to Latin American mythology, to put it that way, it was obvious that he would be the perfect choice.
Yeah, I saw that you also have, it's okay, with Sacred World, it's with a video game. Can you tell me a little bit about the video game and how that became?
Well, after we finished touring for Twist and the Myth, we got a request from a big computer gaming company, Ascaron. It's a German company, and they were about to publish their sequel to Sacred, which was a very successful game in Europe, and I think even over here in the United States. And they asked us for doing music for that sequel, and since Andre and Marcus are both big gamers and they love the game, it was obvious for us to take that opportunity. Since we were just finishing a tour, we didn't have any particular stuff left, so we had to work precisely on that music and on this game-orientated topic. And so we came up with a song. It started out as a more or less generic Blind Guardian song. But when we finished it for the game, we felt, well, there's more to involve, like all the orchestration already was predestined to be done by an orchestra. So we decided to do an outro, an intro, blah, 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 all that stuff to make that an even more massive song for the album.
How was it working with an orchestra? I mean, like, how many people were involved with that?
Well, it's amazing. We went to Prague. The orchestra is called... I have to think about it. It's okay. Nothing. Symphonic Orchestra, whatever. I forget. I messed it up. Egal. It doesn't matter. It's a combination out of two classical orchestra, the National Prague Czech Orchestra and another orchestra. They get together. They decided to come up with a proper orchestra for rock music, which is fairly different from what they usually do. So working with these people has been spectacular. And the maximum we worked with 90 people. Wow. Orchestra-wise, and then we had like 10 people working on the scores, doing the production and all that stuff. So all in all, it was like 100 people, and then another 30 for doing the classical choirs.
Cool. And you also take a lot of your lyrics and stuff from books that you read. I know you're really interested in J.R. Tolkien and also, very influenced by Queen. Can you talk a little bit about also the titles and the songs that are on this album and where you got most of the ideas from?
Well, this time it was not so much J.R. Tolkien who has been an influence. I mean, his story in general it can be found in almost each Blind Guardian song. There is that particular image in every song which leads you into such spheres or dimensions. On the new album there is, as mentioned, Sacred Worlds, which is inspired by the computer game. Then we have stuff inspired by George R. R. Martin's songs of Ice and Fire, or Peter S. Beagle's the Innkeeper song. There is another song inspired by Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time saga. So there's a bunch of stuff, but also philosophical stuff, and Milton's Paradise Lost has had a decent share on the album. You can find that in Control the Divine, and there's another story of John Milton which I really liked and which inspired me to write a song called Curse My Name. So there's a bunch of literature involved in the album. Queen is generally a very big influence, and you can feel that not only in the choir arrangements but also in the way Andre is structuring his guitar solo and guitar solo work. This has been the case ever since the very early 90s, and on this new album I would say it becomes very obvious when you listen to a song like Road of No Release, for example, or War of the Thrones, which do have some Queenish links.
Cool. So how does it feel to be playing for this long and playing live and also doing videos and keeping the energy alive on stage and also coming up with new concepts and ideas for you?
Usually it's great. It's a dream come true, and that's from the first moment. We started being professional musicians in '88, I think, and ever since we do touring and coming up with new ideas. And so far, no one in the band really felt burnt out. So we still feel the energy. Of course, things have changed. You are not as naive and not as aggressive as you may have been in the beginning. But on the other hand, we have one wisdom, professionalism, and still get along as a band. The chemistry is still the same, so it's a quite enjoyable feeling, to travel the world and meet your fans and have a lot of fun with them. So touring is the greatest thing in the world.
That's so awesome. So who are your influences now after you've been playing forever, and who would you say that are new influences in your life with Blind Guardian?
Well, in general, that doesn't change. Ever since I'm 12, I'm listening to the same music. Of course, new bands and trends come up, and some I like and some I don't. I'm still a big supporter of Deep Purple and Queen, as I've been when I was a kid like this. I also like, from the more modern bands, it's probably System of a Down, which is the last, band which really had an impact on me as a musician. But there will be bands in the future showing up and moving something. It's always the same. Whenever you think you know everything, someone comes up with something which hits something in you which has never been attracted before, and there are no limits, and it just depends on the person or the persons to come up with that particular piece of music which moves you.
So you guys have been on tour for how long, and how long is your tour going for?
Oh, we just started in September and did the first leg of the European dates. Started in the US, I think 3 weeks ago, which means mid of November. And we will be completely finished with touring somewhere next year in November. So it's another year on the road, but we'll have a 3 month off from, I think, January on.
And what are your favorite festivals that you've played? I know you guys went to Wacken, but you didn't play the festival, but you did a lot of promotion and stuff like that. Can you talk about your festivals that you really like to play and also about the Wacken festival?
Wacken belongs to the top notch of festivals. There's no doubt about that, because it's the amount of people which makes it so special, and that hitherland attitude which the festival still has. And then playing in a particular spot, like being co-headliner or headliner, doesn't matter too much, but at night time is really great. Usually the Italian and the Spanish festivals, and that doesn't matter where, they are the best, because then you have the most dedicated people in a most peaceful environment. And so I like Gods of Metal a lot. I like all the festivals in Spain. It doesn't matter which one. They are great.
Cool. My friend Moses, he wanted to have me ask you if you guys were going to go on tour with Rhapsody at all, or if you're going to ever do that.
Well, we have spoken about that since Oliver, our bassist, is brother with Alex, the drummer of Rhapsody of Fire. There is a link already, and the music is familiar as well. So there were discussions doing something together in Japan and another territory. I can't remember which one. So it's possible. We haven't definitely decided it yet, but I could imagine that.
So where have you not played that you really want to play?
Where?
Yeah.
I still would like to play in Israel. That's one of the places. Indonesia would be another one. New Zealand, that would be the first three coming into my mind. I know that we'll have a huge South America tour next year, which will bring us to some places like Colombia, for example, where we haven't played before, and they were on my list as well. But as said, I mean, we will definitely... Yeah, more or less, yeah. It's another 12 months. Sorry, it's another 12 months, but yes, this goal is more or less finished.
Oh, cool. And also, what bands that you haven't shared the stage with yet that you would like to share the stage with?
Again, Deep Purple. That would be the first band coming into my mind, because that's my ultimate favorite band. Metallica we haven't played with. That would be great too. All the other big bands, most of them we have played with. So.
Cool. And can you tell me about your side project?
Demons and Wizards. Yeah, John and I will meet in 3 or 4 weeks from now. We do the 70 tons of metal cruise.
That's going to be so fun.
That's a fun one. And we'll have 5 days, so we will discuss that matter there. We have spoken about it several times, but since we are both so engaged in, either Blind Guardian or Iced Earth, it's quite difficult to accomplish a complete album.
Yeah, most definitely. So what does the future have to hold for Blind Guardian?
Well, quality music, fun. A lot of visions still not accomplished. I'm not sure if you heard about the orchestral project we're working on.
I actually did.
So this is something we have on the agenda right now. When we get back to Germany, we do have a 3-month break apart from the cruise. And I'm supposed to do some vocals on the orchestral project, as well as we will continue working with the orchestra in Prague, however the name was. I think it's symphonic, but I'm not sure. And when this is accomplished, I think people will be very surprised and very pleased at the same time.
And do you have a name for that project yet? Or?
No, we're discussing the possibilities to release it under the name Blind Guardian, and in which direction, because we can either just use it as an orchestra meets Hansi, we can make it a complete band project, we can make it other way, and then we can involve guest musicians as well. So it's a difficult issue as well as the topic, because it speaks a certain language, but there are legal matters which might make it difficult for us to go a certain direction.
Cool. And have you guys ever done any soundtracks or anything like that for movies? Or?
Oh yeah, we didn't do soundtracks, but we have had some music which was used in movies like Scouts and Scouts and Shadows and carry the blessed home. I think it was In the Name of the King. Soundtrack is a very delicate subject. You know, we were about to talk to the Lord of the Rings crew when they started working on the Fellowship of the Ring, but that was something impossible to accomplish because I was on the road with Demons and Wizards at that point, so we skipped the idea at a certain point. That was as close as we could get to soundtrack. Musically, it's difficult to, you know, maintain something like that, because the music that have to follow the pictures more than anything else. So you need to be really focused on the moving images, and I'm not sure if that's good.
Understandable. So is there any plans for you guys to play with the Demons and Wizards, like any tour dates?
No, not so far. We have to do a next album, that's for sure. Once this is accomplished, this is something John and I agreed on, then we will do some shows. And the Northern American market would be our first option, since we did touring for the first Demons and Wizards album in Europe. But it has to be done on a very tight time schedule, and this is actually the deal we have to cope with.
Do you have any advice for any, maybe young musicians that are starting out, or vocalists, like maybe warming up the voice or anything like that?
Warming up is good. Yeah. I didn't do that when I was young, not at all. But starting physical exercises, not drinking, another big issue. Not smoking, I mean, that's not so difficult, but not drinking on the road is very difficult. Definitely warming up and keeping the body in shape. I didn't do that as well because I was young and, you know, I needed the money. So nowadays I know it's better, you know, to be really focused on what you're doing. It saves a lot of energy, and especially when you're on the road, that keeps you alive for a longer time. Nowadays, you know, I've learned the lesson on a hard way. It took me like 20 years, but I can live with it. And ever since the early 90s, I do a lot of classical exercises. And there's a lot, you know, breathing is basically the most important issue, and it's more important than singing.
Do you have anything that you'd like to say to your fans?
Yeah, thanks for supporting us. Even the young ones, which aren't there for 25 years, but keep on rocking.
Are you shocked when your fans actually keep singing the song even when the songs are done, and they're just, you know, keeping the song going? And
sometimes I am, but as mentioned, I mean, we have fans which are 20 years, 17, 18 years, and if they demand Majesty, a song which is, you know, 25 years old, this is shocking to me. You know, like, okay, I would expect you asking for And Then There Was Silence or whatever, Fly, or some of the new songs. No, but they ask for Majesty, which is the oldest song in our whole discography. That's shocking. The Bart song thing and the Valhalla thing, I won't say you get used to it, but you expect people to do it. You know, you're always happy, and then you know, okay, it moves something in people, especially Valhalla. That's another song we probably would already have skipped, you know, from the list. But, you know, since people keep on singing it, and, you know, it's so eye-catchy, it seems, we keep it in.
Well, that's great. Thank you very much for the interview, and I totally appreciate your time. And
that's on my side.
Yeah, most definitely. And we hope to see you out at the Grand Regency tonight, and we're very excited to see you guys.